Fellow Lakers, it is truly my honor and joy to welcome you to the 2025 SUNY Oswego Media Summit. Each year, this event gives us a chance to pause, to reflect on where we have been, celebrate where we are, and envision where we are headed. And this year's theme couldn't be more timely: the evolution of an idea, how to nurture creativity in the digital age. Now, in the spirit of creativity, I wondered, why stick to the old script? If we are here to celebrate imagination, innovation, and technology, why not showcase it? After all, creativity isn't just about thinking differently. It can also be about acting differently. It's about taking a leap, experimenting with new tools, and daring to reimagine what's possible. And here's what excites me most. You, our students, are already doing this every day. You are pioneers in this digital frontier. You remix, you adapt, you connect, and you create. You are proving that creativity doesn't just survive in the digital age, it thrives in it. And of course, none of this happens without the visionaries who helped light the path. I want to thank our distinguished alumnus, Lou Borelli, whose vision and generosity launched this very summit more than 20 years ago. Thanks to Lou and to the lasting legacy of Dr. Louis B. O'Donnell, we gather today in a tradition of mentorship, collaboration, and innovation. And I also extend my deepest gratitude to our accomplished panelists and career connectors who are with us today. Your presence reminds us that ideas evolve not only in the classroom, but also through connection, when knowledge meets opportunity, and when experience meets curiosity. And how fitting that we gather here in our newly renovated Hewitt Hall, a magnificent space designed to foster creativity, collaboration, and bold ideas. This building stands as a testament to what can happen when imagination meets purpose. And so today I invite each of you to open your minds, challenge conventions, and embrace conversations that remind us why creativity matters now more than ever. Every breakthrough, whether in art, in media, in science, or technology, starts with something small. An idea, a spark, a single thought. And so welcome to this summit, and welcome to this moment. The evolution of an idea starts right here with you.
Attention operators and countdown one, this is the Mayor Go for Flight 2 of Starship. Again, 20 is at 7 a.m. Central. Raptor 1. Go. Raptor 2.
Go.
Stage 1.
Go.
Stage 2.
Go.
Copy, go for flight. Clock is rolling. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Every leap in human progress, from the first cave paintings to the printing press to jazz to the internet, began the same way. With an idea. With someone daring to imagine what didn't yet exist. That's the essence of evolution. And what sparks evolution? Curiosity and imagination. The most powerful gift we have as humans is our ability to create, to dream, to experiment, to build. But imagination alone is not enough. It takes curiosity, courage, and consistency. Because when we create consistently, we don't just bring ideas to life, but we build moments, we write history, we spark a renaissance. Today, in this room, you are part of that history. The Media Summit is your invitation to expand your mind, to network, to share, and to learn, to push yourself, your community, and the world forward through creativity. You don't need a canvas or a lab coat to create. You only need courage. Because every time you imagine a better way, you evolve the story of all of us. But where do we go with our ideas? Who do we share them with? And what's the first step to becoming the person we want to be? That's why we're here. That's why there is the Media Summit. The Media Summit was founded by Lou Borelli, a proud SUNY Oswego alumni from the class of 1977. Lou created this gathering in honor of his mentor, Dr. Lewis B. O'Donnell, the visionary founding chair of communication studies here at Oswego. For more than 26 years, Dr. O'Donnell taught, inspired, and empowered students, leaving a legacy of excellence that earned him the Chancellor's Award for Teaching. Today, 21 years later, the Media Summit continues that legacy, preparing students not just to meet the future, but to shape it. Because who says you have to wait until graduation to change the world? You can start right here, right now. Every great story of progress started with a spark. A fire in the cave, a brushstroke in the Renaissance, a rhythm in the Bronx, a line of code in a garage. Each creation was more than an invention. It was a rebellion against stillness, a conversation with the future, a declaration, I was here, I mattered, I changed something. Sometimes we create to change the world. Other times, we create simply to survive it, to process pain, to hold joy, to remember who we are when everything else seems lost. Creativity is not always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper in the dark, a quiet idea that refuses to die. But when it grows, we grow. When we evolve, humanity evolves. Through color, through code, through voice, through vision. The next chapter, that's up to you. This is our moment. This is the Media Summit 2025. This is the future, beginning here, beginning now. And today, to talk about those ideas and how to nurture creativity in the digital era, we are proud to welcome 4 outstanding leaders in media. Gabriel Almanzar, multi-Emmy Award winner and Vice President of Creative and Editing Operations at CBS News. Barry Gleiner, Warner Bros. Discovery Director of Post-Production. Kimberly Abendondolo, 16-time Emmy nominee and producer at MSG Networks. Finally, this year's moderator is Michelle Garcia, Editorial Director of NBC BLK. We are also grateful to the 4 incredible career connectors who could join us today, opening doors for the next generation of media innovators. To our speakers, connectors, and to every student and faculty in this room, thank you for being part of this event and for your open minds to be curious, to be creative, and to move ourselves into a better future. Welcome to the 2025 Media Summit. Please welcome this year's Media Summit Student eBoard Directors, Amy Cisnero and Sophia Sakalis.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Amy Cisneros.
And my name is Sophia Sakalis.
We are honored to welcome you to the 21st Annual Dr. Lewis B. O'Donnell Media Summit.
The State University of New York at Oswego would like to recognize with respect the Onondaga Nation. The people of the hills, or central firekeepers of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. Today and every day, we acknowledge the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, and Tuscarora nations, their elders both past and present, as well as all of the future generations yet to come.
Before we start, I want to have everyone take a look to your right and your left. There are emergency exits at the front and back of the auditorium should the need arise. Please note your closest exit. Also, students, there will be a QR posted. If you could scan that QR code so you can get your attendance recorded for today. As your event directors, Sophia and I are proud to represent the student community in partnership with our executive board and Professor Francesco Suarez. Together, we are delighted to introduce our moderator, panelists, and career connectors, each of whom bring exceptional expertise and a diverse range of experiences to today's conversation. This year's theme, The Evolution of an Idea, How to Nurture Creativity in the Digital Age, invites us to examine the delicate balance between technology and the human spirit of creation. Our panelists will share how they integrate innovation with authenticity, embracing the transformative power of digital tools and artificial intelligence, while never losing sight of the irreplaceable value of the human imagination. As we explore these evolving technologies, we will also celebrate the drive that defines us all, the uniquely human capacity to think, imagine, and bring ideas to life.
As students in the audience, you hold a vital position in shaping the discussions we'll be engaging in today. Let this summit today remind us that our visions are not meant to be replaced, but amplified through technology. While high-tech advances bring around professional changes, the evolution within the ways that we think bring the most luminous force of power. Senior year, I told my hairdresser that I was studying communications. She said, "Honey, I thought speech therapy in kindergarten taught you how to talk." Beyond the myths, the real curiosity behind students studying media and the art is a strong desire to learn the depth behind everything that we see while vicariously living through every story we can touch. As media professionals, we don't just strive for our work to be seen, but for it to be deeply purposeful. Allow me to convey my appreciation to the founder of the Media Summit, Lou A. Borelli. Thank you for helping thousands of students stay true to their passions while never losing sight of their dreams, regardless of any new frontier that this industry may bring to us. Amy and I are honored to welcome our guests, all alumni who have devoted miles chasing sunsets and dreams to reach inspiring destinies. Thank you to our moderator, Michelle R. Garcia. And our panelist, Barry Gleiner. Kimberly Abendondolo. And Gabriel Almanzar. Thank you for your time and for leading today's conversations. We cannot wait to see the ideas you will contribute and the stories you will share. An additional thank you to President Wosu for not only driving students to use bold visions to succeed, but for being here with us today.
We welcome you to the conversation and thank you for being here as we continue to evolve, innovate, and inspire.
Without further delay, can I have a drum roll, please? Please welcome our special guest experts of the Media Summit 2025.
Give it up for these two. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Okay, we gotta jump into it because I have a stack of questions. Everybody, so be prepared.
Big shout out to the people that put that excellent
was
video
so
together. That was really well done.
I was honestly kind of moved. Won't cry. All right. So, being back here, it's just kind of like giving me memories of just being a student here at Oswego 20 years ago. I would love to hear from each of you about what was the nerdy, creative, weird, interesting thing that you did while you were here at school. I'll give you an example. I did improv. I co-majored in improv.
I think just being a comm student was nerdy, period. So
Yeah.
everything I did was nerdy. But really, I think being able to make, having access to video equipment back then, which was a real privilege, I got to make some interesting little side videos. That was with some of my buddies who were fellow comm students and other just friends who were not comm students. That was a lot of fun.
Is it safe for you to tell us what
No.
one of the... Okay.
No.
All right. Fill in the blanks.
No, sorry.
Kim.
Well, I can tell you about one of those videos I made. My friends and I had to do a video project, and we did a music video to Taylor Swift's Blank Space. And
right.
I definitely realized I didn't go into acting for a reason after that one. But other than that, I played, I think, every intramural sport I could here. So everything from ping pong club to ultimate frisbee, and I loved every moment of it.
We actually have a clip of that music video. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, no,
I'm just kidding.
Cut.
JK. Gabe, how about you?
Well, I don't know that I did a lot of nerdy stuff. I think when people saw me taking random photos of them throughout campus might have felt a little weird. Just like
What
in
were
the
you doing with
hallways and the, behind dorm rooms, I was snapping everything. I was new to the camera, so.
We're like, get our good side.
Yeah. Okay. I want the photos of me. Okay, so, after Oswego, obviously, we do eventually have to leave. What were some of your early, creative moments in your early career? Gabe, you want to go first?
Wow. Well, we all have our journeys, and one of my first journeys took me to ABC Sports, and the first Super Bowl I worked on, which I think was 40, it was in Detroit. That was like, wow. I felt like I made it. I was bringing people coffee, but I felt like I made it.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a big wow for me. Like the creativity, the production that goes into live events like that, I was like, wow, like this is for me.
What's something while you were in that moment, baby Gabe, what did you learn? What was something that you were like, oh my gosh, I want to do that? Or, yeah.
Everything that has anything to do with television. I was one of those that graduated here with a BFA in graphic arts and didn't take one broadcasting class. So TV was completely new to me. So just being at a remote that size, that big a deal was like a wow. And everything I was consuming, absorbing was all new to me. It was a big learning experience.
That's cool. Kim, how about you?
I mean, I was always interested in sports, so at WTOP, I was a sports anchor here. So when I got the opportunity to interview some of the New York Rangers, that was a real shining moment for me. Because when you see people do that and you're just like, man, I want to do that one day, and then you just speak up and you ask for the opportunity, you just never know what's going to arise. So that, even as an Islanders fan, I was still excited to do that.
How did you get that opportunity? Did you raise your hand, or did somebody hand it to you? Or
I feel like if you show your drive through the years and you show that you're interested and you're motivated to do do that kind of stuff, then yeah, you just have to speak up for things you want. Sometimes you get told no, but then you get, the courage and the experience that they say yes, and very honored that I got to do that.
That's cool. Barry.
For me, I was a budding assistant video editor. And one of the things was how they worked these edit sessions I was involved with at the time as an assistant. If the editor called in sick, they would look at you and go, guess what you're doing today?
You're up.
And that's exactly what happened. And that
Wow.
was quite a moment, very nerve-wracking. It was a really cool show on USA Network. We were doing a show called Night Flight. I don't know if any of you guys would know that, but some of the older folks might. It was an early music video type show with also very bizarre.
We got a
You got some fans.
We got a fan.
And I had to step into that chair and cut an episode of Night Flight for USA Network, and that was really my first deep dive into doing, stuff that people were going to see. That was my moment.
Oh my God. Okay. What were you feeling when you started that process, and what did you feel at the end of that process?
You mean during that session?
Yeah, were you like, oh my God, I'm gonna something?
When the person in the scheduling office where they would schedule the edit sessions told me that I would be doing it that night, I think I go, excuse me, I ran into the bathroom and I did start crying, but also looked in the mirror and said, I can do this. It was a little combination of. And the good thing was, as an assistant editor on a project like that, I worked with these folks, these producers, for a couple of years now. They knew me, and they had trust in me to take over, to step in and do the job. And by the end of the session at 3 a.m, we completed, we got it out the door, or the next day went out the door, and I felt great.
Wow.
It was like extremely inspirational.
Yeah.
And then at this point, I was like, I could do anything.
Exactly. It is crazy how like being thrown into the pit just like forces you to just like, all right, grow up. It's time. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of growing up, we're going straight to corporate media. All of us, I guess all of us work in some form of corporate media, and we work for like these big old corporations with lots of money and resources, supposedly, they tell us. So, Kim, I'll start with you. How do you cultivate creativity in an arena where, maybe the people that you work with aren't necessarily like, yeah, let's go crazy out of the box with some wackadoo idea, do you run up against that in your work, and like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, no, that's very fair. There's a mix of everything, from people that have been there for 40 plus years to people that are interns and student associates, and I fall in the middle of that. So I feel like if you come in with the mind that wants to learn the process on how it is, see the base, and then you start to maybe plant some seeds, that has been successful for me in my career. So, like for example, we could get a little creative with some edits nowadays, and they're maybe not standard because social media hasn't been around forever, but when you come in with an idea, you pitch it. Sometimes you have to pitch it twice, 3 times, but then you can even show by example. That definitely helps. And the sports world is ever evolving, the entertainment world is ever evolving, so the limit to creativity is endless. It's just about how you can realistically pitch it sometimes and get it off the ground.
Cool. How about you, Gabe?
Yeah, I like to, as a people leader, I like to challenge my team, right? So standard quo doesn't really work for me, and they know that. And they know that because I'm a leader that leads with empathy, so I'll hear everyone out, right? As crazy as the idea might be, or as simplistic as it might be, but they never get a yes out of me on the first try. I push people. I push them with kindness. I treat them with respect. But yeah, like you were saying, the sports and news, there's so many lanes now to be creative. We're pushing the boundaries of virtual production and all these other new spaces. The digital and social teams are just growing and growing. There's more opportunity to do more, and I just make sure my team understands that there's a platform that they can be heard on. So like when they bring things to me or where I'm bringing things up to our leadership, there's always that thought of, hey, this isn't good enough. What else we got? What else can we do?
That's cool. How about you, Barry?
I look at it as I'm talking about post-production. So editing, audio mixing, graphic design. There's no boundaries, there's no limit to creativity. You can come to me with any idea and I'll stand behind it if you want to execute it. And that's a big thing. People might have a great idea, but sometimes they don't want to execute it. They just go, here's my idea. And I'm like, go, run with it. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that. Well, you think about how you want to do that, and then come back to me, and then we'll take it to the next level.
That's cool. So you're kind of like, let's go. You're like a facilitator, really.
Yes.
That's
cool. I'm a pusher.
Nice.
Come on, do it.
Cool. Okay. So I think we've been, in talking to students, I've been really, really fascinated with how embedded with technology everybody is, right? Like, it is really fascinating because for many of us, like when we were on campus, it was like, especially Gabe and I, like we were 20-ish years ago, and technology, we were in like a transition period, and I think that we're back in a new transition period, right? I mean, I guess it's like everybody is always transitioning. That's the nature of technology and art and media and all that stuff. So I'm curious about like what, I guess this is kind of a two-part question. One is, and the baseline being that I know that AI is nothing that we can escape and we have to just obey our robot overlords. But one, how do you use AI, if at all? I don't know, maybe not. But two, just in general, like what kind of tools are we using for technology? What kind of tools are we using for creativity in our work? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what you do. I don't know.
Yeah, well, AI makes all my emails sound very, very good. So the way we use AI, especially on the creative side, I haven't tapped so much into it from the editing front, but Barry could speak more to that. But for me, it's like we come together as a creative team, and sometimes we'll put in prompts into all these creative visual tools and see what we get in terms of what can inspire us. And everyone has the freedom to do that, right? Like there's no restrictions. Now we're never taking anything that AI generates and putting it on TV, obviously, but it does serve as that baseline creative debrief, mood board kind of session that I'm sure all the creative students here go through as like, hey, I have this really cool idea. And the idea could be strictly yours and you just might be in a little bit of a funk of how to visualize it. Well, AI can help you through those processes. Obviously, I work, big corporations. There's a lot of guidelines and rules and unions that you have to abide by. But yeah, that is how we tackle it on the creative front. We use it as that creative debrief part of the process.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. In terms of big corporations, like we're walking that tight line of what are we legally able
Standards,
to do?
yeah.
Exactly. My legal team is like, no. But then it really does help spark the creativity. Like it has to start with you, but then from there, I feel like it can be enhanced. So like I'll go to ChatGPT and be like, can you phrase this a little more professionally, or give me a few show title names, and I'll get that inspiration from there. But at the end of the day, too, it comes back to us. There are a lot of tools being used in the world now, so we're still exploring those in the sports industry, but it's very promising. However, I think that the human touch is definitely necessary.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I agree. Warner Bros. Discovery just worked on a really big project for the Sphere in Las Vegas, and they are showing The Wizard of Oz as a reimagined film inside the Sphere. And one of the projects that, it wasn't one of my teams directly, but I know the folks that worked on this, and they had to reimagine how they could pull the audio track, which was basically a very mono mix, and there were no separate tracks available of the film. And how could they pull apart the audio track and rebuild it to fill that arena in a good, in the sound that would make it effective. And they've used AI tools to pull like Judy Garland's voice out of her singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, so they could isolate that. And then instrumentally, they were pulling apart the song as well, and then remix it for a full, 7-1 surround experience. AI are tools that we can use right now. The ones that, as we mentioned here before, that the corporation or the legal departments will allow you to use, there are some. There are others that do incredibly cool, funny stuff on TikTok. And I have to say, when my kids share those with me, I do get a good laugh. But those might not be there yet for the kind of world we're living in. Someday they might be. They do have to get through the legal departments.
I want to add, it's also a big part of our R&D process, right? So like one of the things when I'm building executive presentations, I go through a competitive analysis. Well, instead of me having to, search the internet for all this stuff, an AI prompt can spit out exactly what I'm looking for in seconds. And that's just a part of my overall, like I said, presentation, through my R&D.
That's cool. So I feel like that's the takeaway that I think, I don't know, I just kind of want to stress is that, like, yes, we have all these tools, but at the end of the day, we are human beings who think and have creativity. I mean, I don't know, I've asked ChatGPT to make art for me for things that I'm like, what is this? Why? And then the illustrators at my job.
6 fingers?
Yeah. They're like, what is it? And so, the illustrators at my job get mad at me. They're like, what are you doing? We have jobs. Anyway, so I kind of want to get back to like this human thing, since we're a bunch of bags of meat in a room. Hi, I'm a journalist and I work with words. Creativity often requires vulnerability, right? Like making something and then presenting it to other people is it's a vulnerable act. It's a really like human act to like sing a song in front of a bunch of people or like paint something and then put it on a wall, But I think we also live in an era where like that type of sharing, it feels maybe even more scary than it used to, like that vulnerability, to be vulnerable, because everything probably, it's like, oh, it's going on the internet and everybody's going to see it and everybody that I've ever known is going to judge me and like all that. How do we push past that? Because, how do you deal with that? Do you deal with that kind of pressure?
The first thing I would say is, I think Lou was saying this on some of our classroom visits earlier, is you guys are in the perfect place to fail. Like, you want to fail. This is where you want to try stuff and fail. Like Dr. Furlong was saying, you walk out of here with a toolbox, and then you go figure out what you're building, afterwards. But this is the place where you want to fail. In terms of failing on the other side, let's just hope you're not too far along on a project or something like that, right? Like, you want to be able to make smart choices. But part of being creative is also knowing that you're going to run into scenarios where, you're going to have to figure it out, like fake it till you make it kind of thing, right? There's certain projects that obviously require a level of planning and you can only do so much of that. You can't be afraid to jump in. What I would say is use the Oswego State University as your platform to fail. Just try stuff.
Exactly. I mean, there are a lot of things I look back on, and everyone loves this word, but it's very cringe for sure. But without those, you never learn. So I do have to say, as long as you're putting your heart into it and you're passionate about it and it's something that you feel like you're at least going to improve while you're creating it, that's the big takeaway. Plus, we're all posting things on social. They get different metrics. Like, one post will hit, one won't as much. But if you don't keep posting, then you won't ever get there. So I think it's all about continuing to be creative, push those boundaries a little bit, and then see what sticks, learn from that, and keep going.
I always loved, when I was here at school in the early 80s, for me, the resource of Lanigan Hall, which used to host a couple of studios, and then Poucher Hall, which is connected to Murano. It's kind of embedded in that building somehow, had radio labs that Fritz was kind enough to let me manage for a year and a bit. Thank you, Fritz. I don't look at it as much as I was looking, or opportunities to fail, as much as nurture the creativity that I knew I had in me, but I didn't know how to get it out of me. And the resources here, and now getting a tour of this refurbished building,
Y'all don't know.
it blew, my mind is like, boof. The resources that are now here for you guys to take advantage of. I went in, we poked into the control room, the production control room, and I'm looking at it, and I told Jen Knapp, and I said, that looks pretty close to what we have back in my office.
It looks better than some of my control rooms.
Yeah,
So-
NBC, same deal.
Yes, absolutely.
Truly.
Absolutely. So all I could say is take advantage of everything that is offered here on this campus while you can, while you're here. You will be shocked when you walk out the door with your degree and go, hey, I can run that piece of equipment at CBS or
That's right.
Warner Brothers Discovery or MSG. I mean, that's what's going on here right now. So take that creativity and let it go. Bring it out.
Can I share a failure that I had in the year 2006? I launched a magazine as my senior project, and I did it with my buddy, Ray Guzman. He was awesome. He was our sports editor at the Oswegonian, and I was editor-in-chief, and we needed to do something, so we were like, let's launch a magazine. So we did a big blowout magazine. It was incredible. We called it Laker Sports. We had a cover, it was beautiful. It was like 40 pages, perfectly edited. The photos were beautiful. And as the executive editor, Michelle Garcia, she never looked at the cover of the magazine before it went to the printer. And then she never looked at the cover of the magazine before they made a big poster of it for our big launch party in front of our faculty advisor, the dean, every student we knew. We had catering. And so we unveiled the cover, and it had a big typo on the front, women's sports, not women's sports, but women's sports, and like 5 women. So yeah, failure, guys. Like, it is part of the process, and you better believe that 19 years later, I have learned from that moment is check everything. If you pretend that you're an editor, you have to actually be an editor and edit the words on the page. Anyway, so yeah, failure, part of the creative process. I say you should.
100%. Can I give you mine?
Yes, please.
I misspelled Indianapolis on a front-end football title card. For those of you that don't know, when you watch a football game, you get the 2 logos, right, and where the city is. I misspelled Indianapolis, and this is back when we had to put things on DigiBeta and send it out to the remotes. So sure enough, they get it on the remote, misspelled. My boss went to me, listen, who gave the 2-strike story the other day? Was it Lou? Yeah. So I had 2.5. That was, I had like half of the lifeline after that one, but sure enough, he said, just don't do it again. But I failed. That was a big one.
Right? And it sticks with you, but it's good because now you know. Any more? No, you guys are perfect. It's fine.
Absolutely perfect.
You've done everything
no failures.
beautifully, and which is why you're
Everything
here.
I've done in my career has been 112%.
Pristine. I would love for you to kind of walk us through maybe like an idea that each of you have had in like the most recent couple of years, like something you're like, hey, I want to do this thing, 'cause since this is about the evolution of an idea. Take us through maybe like a process, like a moment where you were like, I have this idea for this thing, and then how you executed it.
Wow. Well, for me, one of the biggest projects I ever worked on. So I've done several election coverages at CBS News, and for me, the last year's election, presidential election, was one of the biggest technological lifts I've ever done, and it all stems from an idea. Like, we've always traditionally had just like the main presenter area, right? Like the desk and the talking heads, right? Like all night, and you have boards and stuff, and I went to my boss. I said, how do we make this bigger? How do we have that wow factor? And in collaboration with a lot of our other leadership, we came up with this whole virtual environment and how we can have a connective tissue to the main presenter desk. So we had a virtual immersive environment. We had a virtual window. We had an AR touch table that I've never seen done on any broadcast. So for me, that was like from start to finish. I mean, it was a year process, but it was something that was like, wow, like this was nuts, and we did it, and we got it done. So that was the most recent for me.
Amazing. I mean, mine is even a little bit more simple, but fun. So sometimes we get access to hockey players like the Rangers, Islanders, and everything. And even if you have something as silly as like a little idea, like my idea was, okay, we're going to put sunglasses on these guys. They're going to walk in front of this cool Cadillac, and we're going to do it in slow motion. And it sounds so silly, but then when people see that edit, they're like, oh, this is fun. Like, this is the content that we want. You usually see them on the ice, and then it's just a fun little moment that sparks a silly idea, but great content. The fans loved it, much smaller than yours, but it's still exciting little times that bring joy to people.
That's cool, though. I mean, honestly, like, what made you pitch that? Like, what inspired that?
I just was like, aren't people walking in slow motion with sunglasses cool? Like, when have you, that's not
And they're
been
hockey
cool?
players.
And they're hockey players.
So there you go. But there you go. And then it performs well on social, more engagement for the actual feature. Just those small ideas can actually take you places, believe it or not.
You know, for me, recently, so being a manager, not in the creative chair, so to speak, as I did for over 25 years as an editor, you know, sometimes you're challenged with different types of creativity, right? As we all experienced when COVID hit, my boss calls me on a Monday and says, you have to get your entire editing staff remote by Wednesday, and then we're shutting the building down. So 72 hours. Good luck.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I need a little help? No, you figure it out.
DIY, baby.
Yeah. And I pulled it off. I don't know how. You're going to ask me, how did you do that? I don't know. We were able to get quite a few dozen editors remote. We shipped them home with large computers initially, and then working with our engineering teams over the next few days, we figured out how to get them remote access to all the servers that hold all the media and the Avid program editing and whatnot. I mean, it was a multiple person task, but it was dumped in my lap for my New York and Maryland team. Wow. So it was quite a challenge. Had to really think out of the box for that, but pulled it off. That's the kind of creativity I'm dealing with these days, rather than, you know, sitting in an edit room and, you know, cutting a music video or, you know, editing a documentary or something to that degree like I used to do. And I kind of miss those days a little bit. I don't mind being, you know, in management, but boy, there's nothing like making content that you could share with, you know, a few million people the next day or a couple of days later.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting how, like, as you get further along in your career, your opportunities for personal creativity toward your work, like, they kind of go away.
They dwindle.
Absolutely. Right? How do you do, I don't know, I personally struggle with that, not being like a reporter in the field or like writing all the time. How do you do it?
I'm no stranger to sketchbooks, so I will jump in, and whether it's mocking something up that's up here for my team to then take to the finish line, I'm not shy to do it. I still have the skill sets. I can still design. Like Barry, I spent a lot of years as a designer, so it's something that never lost me. That passion is always there, and I feel the way I impact others is through sometimes just doing it myself and sharing the idea. I also, as a people leader, decided to create what I call the creative nexus. So once a month, me and my director, my manager, we put together this platform, and we invite guests. We pitch new software that's out there. We give people access to stuff that maybe it's out of sight, out of mind. They might not have a pulse on it. We help them get there by creating this platform, and we invite everyone from news, sports, VFX teams, and we've had some pretty big guest speakers, and it's been like just cultivating that creativity platform.
Wow, that's really cool. How about you guys? Like, how do you continue to be creative as you ascend your success?
Yeah, no, I mean, just as you continue in your career, you just take on more and more roles, and a lot of those become managerial, or you're checking in on status. So my team and I, we make sure to have intentional brainstorms. It sounds silly, but if you just put an hour on the calendar every other week, and you just talk about content that you have coming up, but how you could make it fun. And half of these ideas just end up in us telling jokes and laughing at how maybe silly they might be, but then some of them spark real creativity. Yeah. So intentional, sitting in a room all together in real life, brainstorms really do help.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, creativity, go.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, for me, with the team of post-production folks that I have, audio mix, graphic design, video editing, I kind of live vicariously through them, which is kind of, satisfied my need. They really hate when I would walk into their room and go, and I'm watching them edit. I go, hey, can I just stand here for a few minutes? Yeah, and I go, you know what? If you could just make that, that cut a little quicker, and maybe that color a little more yellow, they're like, okay, it's time for you to leave. You see, you have to know, when you get into management, you have to learn your boundaries. But that's how I stay connected to the creative. I really enjoy sitting in with my team and really asking them, what do you need to continue to be creative? And usually it's the technology. I need faster speed. I need more plugins for my effects. I need this, I need that. That's what they're looking for. Or I read about this, or I read about that. Can we look into that? And, the creativity that I bring to the table is bringing them those tools.
Yeah.
If I can get those tools.
100%. I can relate. I got really excited when my manager brought to me like a new program that all I needed to do was buy it for him, but it basically made like giving people's vacation, like that whole management, it made that so much easier. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like I live vicariously through them as well.
Yeah, it's like creative problem solving and watching, like giving somebody else a platform to flourish. Barry, what you said reminded me of like my boss sitting and watching me in a Google Doc while I edit, and I'm like, please.
It's cringeworthy.
I hate it.
Can you give us a J cut or an L cut?
Oh God, like busting out knives. Just thinking about. Cool. So, let's see. Where are we in this moment right now? I'm not looking at my note cards. If you haven't noticed. What is inspiring you guys lately? Like where do you go for creative nourishment? What are you is it like, are you going to a museum? Are you doing things IRL? Are you talking to certain people? Where are you getting your creative?
For me, being based in New York City is really awesome, and made a lot of connections over the many years that I've been in the business. And sometimes we just have a little meetup with a couple of fellow, directors or managers who oversee post-production. Drink a beer, have a coffee, whatever, and talk about, what are you guys doing? And, sometimes we can't talk too in-depth because you're just not supposed to do, you're not allowed to do that on a corporate level. But, we can, is anybody looking? Okay, so here's what I'm doing. And we do a lot of that. And what's great about that is sometimes I can go back to my boss and go, hey, I know what they're doing over at NBC Sports. I just happened to hear it in a coffee at Starbucks. I mean, the guy told me directly, but, I overheard it.
We chat.
And, ideas get shared like that. And from that, sometimes things can, grow. Sometimes they just get put on the shelf. But that's the way I do it. It's a lot of fun that way.
Yeah, it's like it's the human way of doing that.
To Barry's point, it is a small community. Like everyone kind of knows each other in this industry. So, while I can understand the sensitivities around the editorial content not being shared, people that work in operations, sometimes I want to showcase, like, hey, yeah, I did that, like, and here's how I did it. Like, I just visited a friend in Miami at the Telemundo facilities. They're doing stuff that you better, I'm copying as soon as I get back to New York, 100%. Like, and that's okay, and it's a small community. So we kind of push each other. I know I was talking to a guy at NBC News at a conference in Vegas, and he was like, hey, yeah, I saw what you did for elections. I'm like, oh, okay,
now
cool.
I want to know who that
well,
guy
I saw what you did. So we have that camaraderie, and like Barry said, sometimes over a beer you might say too much, but
And honestly, we all copy each other anyway.
Yeah. In the end.
Yeah.
And we're all aware of it too. So I actually just went to an event that a production company put on in like collaboration with like 5 other production companies. So then they all came together. They were like, hey, we're all competitors, but we're all creative. So if we don't all work together in this field and keep working on our craft, then it's always going to be in competition. But how can we come together and like be creatives together, relax, have a drink, talk about our projects, get inspired. It was actually an intentional event for that, not so much for copying, but just inspiring each other. And outside of that too, I do want to note you should have a fulfilling life outside of work. Like work is a lot of your life, but I constantly get inspired by my hobbies that I'm taking up, my friends that I'm hanging out with, random conversations, random things you stumble upon in the street. Like have a life outside of work too, because that really does inspire you in other ways.
I'm going to ask you what your hobbies are because I'm fascinated by people's hobbies.
Where to begin? Well, I did every intramural sport possible here at Oswego. So I've still carried on with ping pong, with volleyball. A lot of them are sports-based, but you meet friends through all of those activities, and then you end up doing other things like dinners, museums, all of that. And every little experience you do, you can grab inspiration from. Yeah.
Sports has a really good conference. I don't know if you're talking about SVG. The SVG conference that sports hosts is amazing. You get all these industry leaders, ESPN, NBC Sports, and they come together and they present their work. And it's really inspiring.
Sportsing it up. That's cool. Is it like an every year situation?
It's every year, yeah.
Honestly, actually, that just to, you mentioned another conference. Was it NAHJ? In Vegas.
NAB.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, of course. I will say, like, if you ever have a chance to go to a journalism conference, a media conference, an industry, whatever industry you end up in, go.
Oh, yeah. NAHJ,
Yeah.
NABJ.
Yep.
I've gone all, yeah.
Okay, they're very educational. I learned a lot and networked so much at the bar. Anyway, no, but seriously, I don't know. I've gotten jobs going through to these conferences.
No, those are great.
Yeah.
And what's really great about them is nice to see people that look like you at times and see where you can reach, the heights that you can reach. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Those conferences are really good.
It's really incredible. Even when I was a student here, our advisor, Linda Loomis, took us to the New York Press Association conference. And she took like a whole bus of us. It was crazy. We were really dumb at this conference. But again, we learned a lot. We actually did learn, I swear, if Linda's here or listening. But yeah, it was great. It was a really fantastic experience. And like, if you have a chance to do something like that, I recommend it. Anyway, so I think we are just about ready to wrap it up, guys. Wow, what a beautiful moment. We're going to start taking questions from the audience. So, if you, we have a question already. Please, indulge.
I want to ask this question for you, Michelle.
Microphone?
Oh, yeah. Your microphone might not be. Is it on? Maybe it's not on. We're going to turn it on. Put it on the microphone. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got you now.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Michelle.
One of the questions is how you are in NBC BLK, right? What was your favorite story that you covered, and do you run the Twitter account?
I do not run the Twitter account. Somebody who is actually like their job to do Twitter, that's who does it. It is not me. So sorry. Let's see. My favorite story. We've done so many over the years. I've been there for 5 years, and I'm clearly stalling, trying to think of a question or rather a story we did. Something that is popping out to me actually is, and this is going to sound kind of dark, but it is actually really cool. One of our reporters, he's been a reporter for years. He covered the Knicks. He covered the Sydney Olympics. He's done everything in sports. And then he's since started working with me at news, Curtis Bunn. And something he did was he went to a plantation, it was a former plantation where people were enslaved, and he spent a night in the slave quarters. And I know that sounds really dark, but it was like a ghost story. It was actually kind of like a really cool narrative ghost story that he got to tell. I don't know. It was such a surreal experience. We still talk about it. We published that story probably 3 years ago, and people in the newsroom still talk about it. People, readers still talk about it. So it's really cool. Thanks for the question.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
This question is for all of you. So obviously AI is a very big thing in the industry right now. And what would you say to any students who are concerned about AI possibly replacing them in their job?
I have the answer. No. Well, okay. My quick answer is just be as human as possible. I think that to me, that's the takeaway of all of this. Is just AI can't yet do everything. Do what you are good at. Do the thing that you can do that nobody else can do. And I think that will at least get us started through the robot revolution. Yeah. Anybody else?
Back up.
Yeah. See, I'm a bunch of tech people. Uh-oh. Here, take this.
Third time's a charm. I'm going to say that AI right now in our industry, in the media industry, it's a tool. It's not something that's taking away our jobs. And that's certainly how we're looking at it where I am, and I know these guys are the same way. You have to learn how to, like any tool that you're handed to do your job, you have to learn how to wrangle it in and make it do what you want it to do. The creativity comes from here and here. It's not coming from that box. That's the way you have to look at it. And if you could do that, I think that you have many, many, many years before AI takes away the jobs that you guys would do as creators. I really do. Yeah, I see it on TikTok, as I mentioned before, but there's right now, that level of creativity or content that's being created by AI is not necessarily the content that is fitting well into the professional media industry. That's all how I could put it. And that's what we're here to do. You're here to learn how to be a professional, not just a TikTok creator. That's, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but that's not really the bigger picture.
Especially in news, we created a whole department called CBS News Confirmed, and it was made up of real people that were out to make sure that we maintain our journalistic integrity, right? Their job was to debunk a lot of the AI stuff, but guess what? They were probably using AI tools to debunk the fake AI. So, like Barry's saying, embrace the tool. I agree. I don't think it's ready to take over the world. I think we're still driving the narrative in terms of how this can shape our lives, our world, and our industry.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, we all thrive on collaborating together, and it can never really take away from that. So when you bring your own flair and then you use that as something that can help you with that flair, you're still going to need a team to help get everything off of the ground. And I think that's what we can really rely on to stay inspired that we're still needed even with all of these technological tools.
Thank you.
For all of you. So I wanted to know, in large-scale production environments where multiple teams touch the same idea and the same project, how do you protect the emotional continuity of a project, and especially when technology and automation are handling so much of everything right now? Manage to keep the same emotion and idea flowing when like thousands of people touching the same project.
That's a great philosophical question, I think. I think that this is the job of a manager often, right? Is how do we keep our team motivated in general? So I think it just kind of carries over, whether it's a project or it's just the daily, iterations of work. And I think reminding people of hey, this is why we're doing this particular thing. Think about the audience, right? That's for I think probably all of us, it's the point of what we do is for people to consume the information that we're sharing with them, whether it's TikTok, whether it's a news article, whether it's a graphic, anything. So yeah, I think that is a big part of figuring out, establishing, especially together, why are we doing this? Who is this for? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of I tell the teams all the time, it's not, we're not the sole keepers of what we're creating here. We're basically trying to help our journalists tell better stories, right? And if we depersonalize the project and just look at the task at hand and look at how we can get there to achieve the ultimate vision, whether that vision comes from the executive leadership, myself, or anyone else, we're here just to support the storytelling. We work in a storytelling industry. That's really what I focus on, not so much the, whose voice is going to be louder than the other person. And it does come down to how you manage people. If you're used to treating them a certain way, no matter good or bad, then your tone remains consistent and you get the most out of people.
Yeah, we'll say this sometimes, there are too many cooks in the kitchen, but when all those cooks are providing something their own little flair, I think that's when the collaboration thrives. On that note too, if I'm a cook and I see someone else is doing an even better job, there's a time to realize too, okay, my younger coworkers have amazing ideas, let's roll with this one, let me help them shine in this too. So I feel that's how everybody can stay on the project and collaborative.
Excuse me, I like to identify who might be the best folks to work on a project. I have a pretty large team, and then we have an extended team. But sometimes certain projects, certain talents definitely are better aligned with getting that project done. That's how I kind of wrangle in and manage those kind of large-scale, many hands-on-deck projects.
Who's next?
Hi. Sorry, this is my first time doing this.
Great, welcome.
This is just more of a general question that I just have for one of you to answer. But as AI grows and evolves, even from 2022 when it started to now, the distant future, how important is going to be the skill set of understanding AI and its evolution into the creative media job place?
I spoke about R&D earlier today. We're firmly establishing virtual production teams across the network and our stations. And one of the things that we're doing with the R&D part of that team is exactly that. Continue to familiarize and make sure that we are up to speed with whatever comes out. AI could be a software plugin, could be whatever, a new camera, new this, new that. That's how we intend to kind of keep up, as you say, for the future. That's kind of our plan. We have a team in place that their sole job is going to be to kind of inform the broader group of what's out there.
Thank you so much.
I guess we all have to like live our lives after this panel somehow. I mean, I would stay here another hour and hang out with you guys, but I guess you all have lives outside of this. Huge thank you to our panelists. Have gone to this school and be part of this community. So thank you all for being here. I think we have Professor Suarez coming to say a few words. Hello.
Like we say, when we're having fun, we can be here the whole day. At least me, I can be here the whole day. Thank you so much for your time. This day and this panel is a representation of the effort, the hard work, and tenacity of a group of students. Please, if you're part of the e-board, stand up for a round of applause. Thank you for all your hard work. Also, I want to thank the people behind the cameras, the students who volunteer, for all the crew, and Professor Mike Cleveland for making this a possibility, and of course you, the audience, for taking the time and be with us today. I know an hour go by very fast, and we hope that you learn something new for our experts. Thank you again for being here, and we will see you next year in another new Media Summit, 2026, 22 years of the Media Summit. Thank you, President, and thank you, Lou, for being here. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.